very specific with the objectives of depicting the outline of heme and the functions of heme. So, first objective is to identify the structure of heme or to be able to draw the structure of heme and to denote the functions of heme. Next, we would be going through the pathway of heme biosynthesis. Okay. Next will come the regulatory steps or regulation of the same process, that is heme biosynthesis. And lastly, for today's class, we will get to know the disorders of heme biosynthesis. Okay, in which your main important topic will be porphyria, but porphyria will be a separate class on a next class. Okay, so until that we will learn on today's class. So proceeding, heme. What is heme? It is a prosthetic group of any kind of conjugated protein. Okay, so in any conjugated protein we have the protein part and the prosthetic group. So the protein part is known as apoprotein, and prosthetic part, when it joins, it will make the full conjugated protein. When it acts as enzyme, this will act as coenzyme and will make the holoenzyme. Okay, so heme is iron containing. Iron here is in ferrous state. In our body, wherever heme is produced, the iron always stays at ferrous state. Okay. What is the other state of iron possible? Ferric, Fe+3. Okay. So this is a iron containing group which belongs to the compounds, class of compound known as protoporphyrin. Protoporphyrin. To be specific with heme, the compound is protoporphyrin. There are various porphyrins we will get to know during the steps of biosynthesis, heme biosynthesis. They are known as a group of porphyrins. Porphyrins are cyclic compounds formed by fusion of 4 pyrrole rings. Okay, pyrrole rings, they are itself rings, ring structures made up of carbon, nitrogen and hydrogen. So, 4 such pyrrole rings will be linked by methynyl bridges. Look carefully, in porphyrins the linking bridges are methynyl. Okay, it is not methylene, it is methynyl, where is a double bond CH. Okay. This porphyrin ring, they coordinate with a iron atom at the center, forming the heme structure. As there is iron present, this type of porphyrin is known as ferroprotoporphyrin. The group of compound was protoporphyrin. As the metal present here is iron, we will also call it as ferroprotoporphyrin. Clear? Next, what are the places where heme is present? What are the proteins or enzymes where heme is present, or the overall function of heme? Heme as a prosthetic group is present in several proteins and enzymes, including first of all hemoglobin. Whenever we say heme, the first word comes in our mind is hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is the major protein helping in transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide in our body. So hemoglobin is the major protein. Next comes the myoglobin. What is myoglobin? It is the storage protein for oxygen in muscles. Okay, next comes cytochromes. What are cytochromes? they are the electron carriers in inner mitochondrial layer, performing the electron transport chain and helping in production of energy. The last phase of ETC helps in the production of energy, the passage of oxygen or the passage of electrons. They help in production of NADPH. Okay. Next, cytochrome P450, another cytochrome that helps in specifically in drug metabolism or detoxification reactions in our body. Okay. So, in all these proteins, heme is the prosthetic group. And in enzymes like catalase, peroxidase, tryptophan pyrrolase, the prosthetic group or coenzyme is heme. Clear? So, if asked the function of heme, where it is present and what are the functions of heme, you can write now. Okay? Clear? Next. So, going to the structure. Here, it is a pyrrole ring. See, 5-member ring, 4 carbons, 1 nitrogen. Okay. So, when such 4 pyrrole ring is linked by methionine group bridges, then what happens? A porphyrin ring is produced. Okay. And the arrangements, the groups, pyrrole rings are numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas the bridges are numbered as alpha, beta, gamma and delta. Okay. And these are specific. 1, 2, 3, 4, they are the pyrrole rings, and alpha, beta, gamma, delta, they are the bridges. In case of, and there are 8 substitute groups. Okay, there are 8 places where substitute groups can be attached, and according to the substitute group attached, the nature of porphyria will be changed, or the name of the porphyrin will be changed. Okay. So, in case of heme or what is ferroprotoporphyrin, there are 4 methyl groups, 2 vinyl groups, 2 propionyl groups are attached. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In 8 substitute groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If it is in a symmetrical order, if the substitute groups or side groups are in symmetrical order, as such, methyl propionyl, methyl propionyl, methyl propionyl, methyl propionyl, it will be numbered as porphyrin 1, porphyrin group of 1, okay, Roman 1. If it is asymmetric in number 7 and 8, only in number 7 and 8, in one group, porphyrin 1 group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 were symmetrical, like MP, 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 MP. In case of group 3, what happens? There is asymmetry in substitute groups of 7 and 8. And what happens? It just reverses. Okay. So, it will be MP, 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 PM. Okay. In hemoglobin structure, you all have studied this tetrapyrrole ring structure. Right? So, what happens in heme structure? It is MP, MP, MV, MV, MP, PM. Okay. 2 vinyl groups are there, 2 propionyl groups are there, and 4 methyl groups are there. Look at this. This is the structure of heme, where the iron is already in coordinate bond with the nitrogens of the pyrrole rings. Here is no iron, right? So, this is only porphyrin ring. Here it is the heme, ferroprotoporphyrin. Okay, MV, MV, MP, PM. So, this comes under the group 3 porphyrin. Okay, and you can easily assess. It is a tetrapyrrole ring structure with a central iron molecule of ferrous state. which is in coordinate bonds with the nitrogens of the pyrrole rings. Okay. So this is the structure of heme. Clear? Clear to everyone? The structure of heme, how it is formed and how it looks. Okay. So 4 pyrrole rings are linked by methionine groups with each other, forming a tetrapyrrole ring structure known as porphyrin, and when the substitute groups or side groups are in asymmetric order in side group number 7 and 8, it will come under porphyrin group 3. When it is symmetrical, it will come under porphyrin group 1. Okay. Now, I said this 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, they are symmetrical, they are called as 1 series, and 3 series have asymmetrical distribution of substituents group 1, 3, 5, 8 in place of 7. Okay, clear? Now, why I told this? Because type 3 is the most predominant in our body or in our biological system. We basically find that type 3 is the predominant one. Okay, and other substitute groups, substitutes like acetyl, propionyl, methyl, vinyl. Okay, in the initial steps of formation, it remains as acetyl. Then it converts into methyl, and propionyl in 2 groups, it is converted into vinyl group. Okay, clear? Now, see, there are 3 types of porphyrins: uroporphyrin, coproporphyrin, protoporphyrin. They are named according to their discovery. Okay, uroporphyrin 1 and 3, they were discovered in urine. Mainly uroporphyrin 1 was discovered in urine. Okay, coproporphyrin were discovered in feces, and protoporphyrin, it is the ultimate porphyrin just before getting attached to the iron, okay, found in our blood. So the arrangement of the substituents are as such. In uroporphyrin 1, it is AP, 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 AP. In uroporphyrin 3, it will be AP, 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 PA. In coproporphyrin 1, all will be MP, 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 MP. In coproporphyrin 3, it will be MP, 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 PM. And protoporphyrin 3 will be MV, MV, MP, PM. So from this, only the names and their substituents, you can see that the 3 group, they are going to produce the heme. Okay, it is biologically predominant, and only series 3 can produce heme, because this protoporphyrin is the last part, because heme also contains this sequence of substituents group MV, MV, MP, PM. So just before adding the ferrous group to the central part of the tetrapyrrole ring, protoporphyrin 3 is formed. Okay, so this is according to the pathway. Uroporphyrin 3 will be converted to coproporphyrin 3 and then to protoporphyrin 3. Clear? And why I am saying these names? Because in porphyria, it has a wide variety of porphyria types according to the intermediary product accumulated and the enzyme deficit. So whatever the enzyme will be deficit, the following substance that will be accumulated in our body. Okay. So you have to know the types. Now, biosynthesis of heme or the synthesis pathway of heme. Heme is synthesized in our body in all the cells except mature RBCs. Okay, because RBCs don't contain mitochondria, and this heme synthesis pathway, they are partly cytoplasmic and partly mitochondrial. So major part of heme synthesis occurs in our bone marrows, and it is almost about 85%, whereas the rest 15% occurs in our liver. Okay, although all the cells having mitochondria are able to produce heme, 85% of the heme synthesis in human body occurs in bone marrows and the other 15% occurs in liver. Okay. So, this heme synthesis can be divided into 3 specific stages. Okay. It mainly contains 7 steps. To be specific, 7 steps, but there are, you can divide it into 3 specific stages to make it easier to remember. So, for the first stage, what happens? Biosynthesis of delta amino levulinic acid or ALA, formation of ALA from the precursor, that is glycine and succinyl-CoA. So, formation of delta amino levulinic acid is the first stage and also the first step of heme biosynthesis. So, glycine metabolism porano hoye geche, hoyeche to? So, glycine metabolism er ekta pathway chilo heme synthesis, jekhan theke amra ekhon we will be able to correlate those two aspects. Okay, and succinyl-CoA comes from which major pathway? TCA cycle or citric acid cycle. So, it is important intermediary of TCA cycle, succinyl-CoA. So, succinyl-CoA and glycine, they forms delta amino levulinic acid in mitochondria. Okay, I will come into detail. Next step is to form the porphobilinogen from amino levulinic acid or ALA. Okay, so 2 molecules of ALA will be combined to form 1 molecule of PBG. Okay, so first step is to form ALA, next step is to form PBG from 2 molecules of ALA. Next, formation of porphyrins, various porphyrins, whatever I told in the previous slide, how many types are there. So, all the varieties will be produced in the steps and ultimately heme will be produced from porphobilinogen. Okay, clear? So, these 3 are the stages. First to produce ALA, second to produce PBG and then subsequent porphobilinogens and ultimately heme. Now, ALA synthesis. It starts with condensation of succinyl-CoA and glycine in the presence of pyridoxal phosphate or PLP. What is pyridoxal phosphate? Vitamin B6. So, B6 is the coenzyme here, okay, or cofactor here to form delta amino levulinic acid. Clear? So, first step is to condense the succinyl-CoA and glycine in mitochondria in presence of PLP, and the enzyme here is ALA synthase. ALA synthase is located in mitochondria, that's why this step occurs in mitochondria. Okay, so this is the rate limiting step of the heme synthesis pathway also. The very first step, that is formation of ALA in presence of PLP and ALA synthase in mitochondria, is the rate limiting step of heme synthesis pathway also. And in deficiency of vitamin B6, so anemia can be a prevailing symptom. Okay. What happens? Succinyl-CoA, this is succinyl-CoA, this is glycine. It is combined to form an intermediary product where the coenzyme A is removed. In the next step, carbon dioxide is removed to form the delta amino levulinic acid. Okay, clear? Succinyl-CoA, glycine, ALA synthase, PLP forming delta ALA. Okay. Next, step 2. Now, formation of porphobilinogen. 2 molecules of ALA, now they come to cytoplasm. After forming ALA, those ALA will come to cytoplasm. So the first step is in mitochondria. Next steps are in cytoplasm. What happens in next step? Two molecules of ALA are condensed to form PBG. This involves removal of two molecules of water. Okay, so the enzyme here can be easily named as ALA dehydratase. Two molecules of water is removed in this condensation reaction, and it is very easy to remember the name of the enzyme in this step also. It is ALA dehydratase. Two molecules of ALA is getting condensed by removal of two molecule of H2O. Now, what is produced? Porphobilinogen, which is a monopyrrole. Okay. And this enzyme ALA dehydratase contains the enzyme zinc, okay, and it can be inhibited by lead. So this is the reaction where two molecules of ALA is condensed to form porphobilinogen, which is a monopyrrole structure. Can you see that this is the monopyrrole structure, pyrrole structure? So this is the porphobilinogen, which is the monopyrrole structure formed by condensation reaction of two molecules of ALA in presence of ALA dehydratase and removal of two molecules of H2O. Clear? Next. So this kind of looks like this. In mitochondria, succinyl-CoA and glycine, they form ALA, and this ALA comes to cytosol where two molecules of ALA forms PBG. And the enzymes are ALA synthase, ALA dehydratase. Clear? Easy? Ei porjonto? Very easy? Okay. Now comes the third step, that is formation of uroporphyrinogen. Uroporphyrinogen. This is not porphyrin, this is porphyrinogen. So porphyrin will be formed from this compound. Okay, it is just the precursor of uroporphyrin. This is uroporphyrinogen. How is this formed? This is formed by condensation of four molecules of PBG. We all know porphyrins are tetrapyrrole structures. PBG is monopyrrole ring. So we require 4 PBG to get a tetrapyrrole structure. That's why 4 molecules of PBG gets condensed, and as a result the first porphyrin of the pathway, it is uroporphyrinogen, is formed. Okay. Now what happens in between this step, in between the ring formation, a linear tetrapyrrole is also produced. Okay. So PBGs, they first get attached in a linear fashion and then it is converted to a cyclical ring. Now this linear tetrapyrrole is known as hydroxymethylbilane. Hydroxymethylbilane or HMB. This step requires the enzyme, that is PBG deaminase. PBG deaminase, because deamination reaction occurs here. During the formation of the linear tetrapyrrole structure, deamination occurs. So PBG deaminase is the enzyme. This enzyme is also known as uroporphyrin 1 synthase or HMB synthase. Okay, HMB synthase, because from 4 molecules of PBG we will get a linear tetrapyrrole known as hydroxymethylbilane. This reaction is mediated by the enzyme PBG deaminase, also known as HMB synthase and also known as uroporphyrin 1 synthase. Why? Because what happens? HMB molecule will cyclize spontaneously to form uroporphyrinogen 1. No further enzyme required to produce UPG1 from HMB. Okay, but to form the series 3, that is uroporphyrinogen 3, we require uroporphyrinogen 3 co-synthase. That is why the previous enzyme, that is PBG deaminase, is also known as uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase. Okay, because just only by this porphobilinogen can be converted to HMB and to porphyrinogen 1 directly, spontaneously. But we need uroporphyrinogen 3 for heme synthesis. That's why second enzyme, that is uroporphyrinogen 3 co-synthase, acts here. So what happens? Porphobilinogen is converted to uroporphyrinogen 3. And what is the difference in 3 and 1? In the side groups, symmetry and asymmetry of the side group 7 and 8. So is it symmetrical? So this is UPG3, right? If it had been UPG1, it would be AP, not PA. Clear? Next, from UPG3, synthesis of coproporphyrinogen 3 will be done, and it is mediated by the enzyme uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. And decarboxylase theke we can say there will be removal of carbon dioxide, decarboxylase. Okay, so from which group carbon dioxide is eliminated? From the acetate group or acetyl group attached to all the 4 substituents group. It will be converted into methyl groups. CO2 will be removed from acetyl group to get converted into methyl groups. So the difference between uroporphyrinogen and coproporphyrinogen is only the acetyl group is getting converted into methyl groups, and 4 acetyl group is converted. All 4 acetyl groups are getting converted into methyl groups. So 4 CO2 will be eliminated, and the enzyme here is decarboxylase. Taito? Decarboxylation is occurring on uroporphyrinogen. That is why the name of the enzyme is uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. Clear? So now we get coproporphyrinogen 3, that is CpG3. Now it looks like this: MP, 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 PM. Clear? Everyone? So here the acetyl group of uroporphyrinogen is getting converted to methyl group by decarboxylase enzyme and removal of 4 carbon dioxide. This is step 4. Okay. Still this step, it is happening in cytoplasm. Now what happens? It goes back to mitochondria. CpG3 goes back to mitochondria, and here it is oxidized to protoporphyrinogen 3 by the enzyme, oxidized by the enzyme oxidase. Okay. So after going back to mitochondria, CpG3 is getting converted into protoporphyrinogen 3 by the enzyme CpG oxidase. Okay. And what happens? 2 propionyl side chains are oxidatively decarboxylated to vinyl groups. So 2 groups from the propionyl substituents group will be converted into vinyl group by this oxidation, and this requires molecular oxygen. So what happens here in 2 and 4, the propionyl groups were there in 2, 4, 6 and 7. Taito? It will be converted into vinyl in place 2 and 4, and this requires molecular oxygen, which helps in removal of CO2. It is again a decarboxylation process by enzyme oxidase. Okay, and it is mediated by NADP to produce NADPH plus H plus. So in step 5, what happens? Propionyl groups of substituents group 2 and 4, they get converted to vinyl groups, and this structure is known as protoporphyrinogen 3. Clear? This is happening inside the mitochondria. Next, generation or synthesis of protoporphyrin. Now we are making protoporphyrin. Taito? So what happens? Protoporphyrin is, what is the difference between porphyrinogen and porphyrin? It is the linking bridge. Okay. So in the previous steps, until it is porphyrinogen, okay, the bridge, the connecting linking bridge was not double bond bridge. Okay. So here it will get converted into double bond or methionine. Okay. So the methylene bridges, that was CH2, they are oxidized to methynyl bridges, that is C double bond H, okay, double bond CH, and they produce the porphyrin. And what is the other difference of porphyrinogen and porphyrin? Porphyrin is a colored compound, okay, it gets easily oxidized and produce colors. So here in this step also the oxidation requires molecular oxygen, and the enzyme is protoporphyrinogen oxidase. This is the step 6. So protoporphyrinogen is getting converted to protoporphyrin. Clear? This is the first porphyrin we are getting in our body, protoporphyrin. Next, this is the last step, that is generation of heme, and it is formed by the attachment of ferrous iron to the protoporphyrin. When the ferrous iron gets attached to the protoporphyrin ring by coordinate bonds, it is converted into heme. Okay. And here the enzyme is heme synthase or ferrochelated, because the coordinate bond is nothing but chelation. Okay. So the remaining steps, that is conversion of PBG to HMB to UPG3 to CPG3, all these steps they take place in cytoplasm. Then CPG3 gets into the mitochondria and it is converted into protoporphyrinogen. Acha, here protoporphyrinogen 9 and protoporphyrinogen 3 both are same. Okay. So here it is oxidized, again it is oxidized, and then protoporphyrin is produced, in which iron is attached by ferrochelatase enzyme to produce heme. Okay, clear? So the whole heme synthesis pathway looks like this. Okay, first step, formation of ALA from succinyl CoA and glycine. Here the PLP is the coenzyme or cofactor of enzyme ALA synthase. It is the rate limiting step. Why rate limiting step? Because after getting converted to heme, heme will give a feedback inhibition to ALA synthase. If the concentration of heme is high, it will inhibit the ALA synthase, and when the concentration of heme is low, it will induce ALA synthase. Okay. So all the steps. Next, two molecules of ALA, it is condensed to form porphobilinogen. Then 4 molecules of porphobilinogen, it's converted to linear tetrapyrrole. Then a porphyrin skeleton is formed named as uroporphyrinogen 3. Then it is decarboxylated to convert the acetyl groups to methyl groups in coproporphyrinogen 3. Then this again comes to cytoplasm. Then what happens? All the oxidation steps convert the side chains only. Okay. Propionyl is converted to vinyl group. Then their bridges are formed, okay, in porphyrin, and then heme is formed from attachment of ferrous to the center of the ring. Clear? Everybody, all the 7 steps clear? Okay. So now we will proceed to the regulation of heme synthesis. So regulation, I already told that the main enzyme is allosynthetase. It is the mitochondrial allosteric enzyme, okay, that catalyzes the first step of heme synthesis, is the main regulatory rate limiting step. Clear? So anything that comes with allosteric modulation of allosynthetase can alter the heme synthesis. So first of all, we studied during the step, that is deficiency of vitamin B6 or pyridoxine. Pyridoxal phosphate deficiency can lead to decreased heme synthesis. But heme itself regulates the allosynthetase by repression mechanism. What is repression mechanism? That is, heme inhibits the synthesis of allosynthetase acting as a co-repressor. What happens? Increased level of heme suppresses the synthesis of allosynthetase. Whenever there is excess production of heme, heme itself will inhibit the allosynthetase enzyme, and reverse mechanism also occurs, that is decreased level of heme induces the synthesis of allosynthetase. Okay, so this mechanism is known as the repression mechanism by heme on allosynthetase. So whenever asked what are the regulation process of heme synthesis, if you write only one sentence that allosynthetase is a regulatory enzyme, it will not give you the marks. Okay. So first of all, it is regulated by repression mechanism by heme. How? Increased level helps in suppression and decreased level helps in more production of allosynthetase. Next, it is allosynthetase is also allosterically inhibited by hematine. What is hematine? Hematine, when the ferrous iron is oxidized to ferric form, it is known as hematine. In heme, the iron was ferrous. When it is oxidized to ferric, that same compound will be known as hematine, and hematine cannot carry the oxygen. Heme is bright red whereas hematine is dark brown. So production of hematine allosterically inhibit the allosynthetase. So if there is excess heme, it can suppress allosynthetase. If there is oxidation or oxidative stress in our body resulting in formation of hematine from heme, so that hematine can also inhibit allosynthetase activity. Clear? Next, there are various drugs like steroid hormones and their metabolites, ethanol, barbiturates, they induce heme synthesis. Induce heme synthesis means they helps run the pathway in a forward direction. Iron atom itself activates heme synthesis. So if our body gets free iron in ferrous form, the ferrous iron activates the heme synthesis pathway. Drugs like isoniazid. Okay, isoniazid is a drug for TB and leprosy. So it also, what happens? It also decreases the availability of pyridoxal phosphate that may affect heme synthesis. So isoniazid captures all the PLPs in body in its own mechanism. That's why heme synthesis may be hampered. So when giving isoniazid, extra pyridoxal phosphate or pyridoxine should be given. Okay. Next is the steps catalyzed by ferrochelatase and aldehydrates are inhibited by lead. I told you that aldehydrates enzyme was inhibited by lead and ferrochelatase is also inhibited by lead. So if in the whole pathway these two enzymes are inhibited by something else, the whole pathway will get compromised. Right? So lead poisoning can regulate the heme biosynthesis pathway by decreasing it. Next, high cellular concentration of glucose prevents induction of allosynthetase. So in case of porphyrias, where there is acute attack of porphyria, glucose can be given to prevent the or diminish the activity of ALA synthase. Okay. So what happens in porphyria I will discuss in short today, but in details according the types and the individual enzymes and symptoms will be discussed in next class. So disorders of heme biosynthesis, it can be genetic or acquired. Most common acquired defect is lead poisoning. I told you lead poisoning can be acquired and it will inactivate the ALA dehydratase and ferrochelatase and thus the pathway will be compromised. ঠিক আছে? So acquired defect is lead poisoning. Signs of lead poisoning, that is elevated levels of protoporphyrin in erythrocytes. So why protoporphyrin will be elevated? Because ferrochelatase enzyme is captured by lead. Okay. So what happens? Lead combines with a thiol group of these enzymes. Okay. So these enzymes will be inactivated if ferrochelatase enzyme is inactivated. Where it acts? Ferrochelatase in the last step where the iron is where the iron enters the protoporphyrin. Okay. So it will increase the level of protoporphyrin. Next, the level of ALA and coproporphyrin 3 will also get increased. Why? Because ALA dehydratase helps in combination of or condensation of two molecules of ALA forming PBG. So lead also affects ALA dehydratase, the second step enzyme. So if this enzyme is affected, so ALA will be accumulated in our body and also coproporphyrin 3. Okay, production of heme is decreased, anemia can be there and energy production decreases due to lack of cytochromes in electron transport chain. So the overall signs of lead poisoning are these. Next, the next acquired genetic disorder related to heme synthesis will be X-linked sideroblastic anemia. Okay, so it is a congenital disorder. Congenital means by birth, okay, due to defect in ALA synthase. Okay, ALA itself is defective. So sideroblast are nucleated erythroblast or precursor of mature RBCs, where the ions are accumulated surrounding the nucleus, okay, in the mitochondria, and where because of the ALA synthase is defective, although there is iron, but the cell cannot produce heme. Okay. So in sideroblastic anemia, there will be paleness, fatigue, dizziness, enlarged spleen and liver because of accumulation of iron. It is written here, it is the sideroblast are the nucleated erythroblast. Okay, they cannot get back to the mature RBCs as body cannot produce heme because the deficiency is in the ALA synthase enzyme. Okay, so there will be accumulation of iron in mitochondria in the sideroblast and there will be anemia leading to fatigue, dizziness and enlargement of spleen and liver. Now, just this part is related to porphyria in today's class, that is, it is a group of genetic diseases that result from defect in various enzymes of biosynthesis pathway from glycine to porphyrin. Okay, so in every pathway there are different enzymes. So any defect in any enzyme can lead to accumulation of the previous component leading to a specific type of porphyria. So specific porphyrin precursors accumulate in erythrocytes, body fluids and in the liver resulting in porphyria. So I will discuss in detail in next class regarding individual porphyrias. Now come to the questions. Very easy questions. What are the primary substrates for the initial reaction in heme biosynthesis? Everybody, is it clear? Glycine and succinyl-CoA. So I always say after class response is very natural. but whenever these MCQs will be given to your exam, you will find it Hebrew. যে কি বলছে? Okay. Now, where does the first and rate limiting step of heme synthesis occur? So the first step of heme synthesis, that is also the rate limiting step, it occurs in the mitochondria. If asked where the last step of heme synthesis occurs, mitochondria. Okay. Which of the following compound is also known as hydroxyl methylbilane? That is linear tetrapyrrole. Okay. Next, decarboxylation of which side chain compound to methyl groups converts uroporphyrinogen 3 to coproporphyrinogen 3 is acetyl. So the conversion of acetyl to methyl converts UPG3 to CPG3. Clear? And what converts CPG3 to PPG3? Conversion of propionyl to vinyl. Okay. What is the cofactor for the first step of heme synthesis? B6. That is pyridoxine.